Well, good morning, everyone. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. It's time to get started on the wake-up call. Remember, just a friendly little reminder, we're reading from the book, The Little Things Matter, 100 Ways to Improve Your Life Today by Todd Smith. And if you have this book and you're following along, awesome. You can buy it if you choose. You can also get a free download of it as well. Just look up Todd Smith. Little Things That Matter, and you can follow the directions there on what to do to get the free download. But we're so glad you're here with us this morning. We are on chapter number 81, and don't forget you can listen to all the recordings on thewakeupcall.com. You can go there and check out all the recordings. We're here Monday through Friday at 8:15 Central Time, 9:15 Eastern Time, and I believe 5:15 out on the West Coast. So chapter number 81, get the job you want. And so Jamie and I, we were sitting here thinking about this chapter today and reading over it and just kind of getting our minds wrapped around what we were going to say. And we believe that we have some meat today to offer you all, and hopefully you'll think the same thing. So let's dive in here right now. Chapter number 81, get the job you want. You can achieve anything that is important to you if you will focus on the little things that matter. And I'm going to just read that sentence one more time, and I want you all to just really let it sink in before we head into get the job you want. You can achieve anything that is important to you if you will focus on the little things that matter. So if you're in the market for a new job, look for the little things that will give you the edge. No more whining about not being able to get a job. No more complaining about your current job. It's time to push outside of your comfort zone and do those things that other job applicants are unwilling to do. I recommend that you take the following steps. Number 1, determine your greatest value. Assuming you want the highest paying job for your skill set, make a list of your most valuable talents and abilities and rank them based on their value to the market. As an example, if you are an administrative assistant, your skills may range from answering the phone to creating business plans with a salary range from $15 an hour to $75 an hour. Your job search should then be focused on maximizing your greatest value, writing business plans. Number 2, identify potential positions. Consider positions that allow you to capitalize on your talents. Using the example above, identify the types of companies and positions within those companies where your primary responsibility would be writing business plans. Number 3, create a targeted resume. Once the type of position is identified, create a custom resume that highlights a specific skill set. Make sure to highlight in the job objective and previous experience sections and in the cover letter. Ensure that your resume presents you in a manner consistent with the wage you are seeking. Number 4, identify potential employers. Make a list of all the employers who offer the type of position you are seeking. You may have to confine yourself to a specific geographic region, although many employers allow and often encourage employees to work from home. You may even want to consider buying a list of companies that meet your criteria for a list broker. Type list broker in your favorite search engine to identify business list providers. Number 5, pick up the phone. Here's where the winners are separated from the complainers. This is the biggest job takeaway from this lesson. If you want to land the ideal job, you must push yourself outside your comfort zone and call your prospective employers. There's those 2 words again, outside your comfort zone. The complainers are those who sit at home and look for job postings and allow themselves to compete with 100 other people for the same position. Winners do online research about potential employers, and using personal initiative, they pick up the phone to make initial contact. My friends in human resources tell me that very few people proactively call them. People who are in charge of hiring are the very people who appreciate those rare individuals who use their personal initiative. When you do the little things that impress others, you have the advantage. When you call a company that is not currently hiring for the position you are seeking, ask if it will be okay to forward your resume, then ask for permission to follow up in a couple weeks. If they grant you permission to follow up, they will be more open to accepting your call. And the last one, number 6, Follow up. After you send your resume with a personalized cover letter, be sure to follow up as appropriate. This will increase the likelihood that your name and resume will remain at the top of the pile. When a job opportunity materializes, if you really want to stand out from other applicants, send a handwritten note thanking the person you spoke with for their time and consideration. And then Todd goes on to challenge us all. He says, if you're looking for a new job, do you have the courage to pick up the phone and call prospective employers for as long as it takes to land the job you want? Are you willing to be uncomfortable for a few weeks to get the job that allows you to maximize your gifts and abilities? If your answer is yes, then I challenge you to do 3 things. 1, think outside the box. Be creative and make a list of the little things you can do to get the edge. 2, review the tips I have outlined and create a targeted resume. And number 3, once you land an interview, be conscious of your personal brand and do all the little things to make a positive impression. Well, Mr. Yount, what is your take on this today?
All right. So thank you, and just thank you for joining us this morning. I think when I was reading this yesterday and then this morning, and when we talked about it, I mean, you might be sitting on here saying, well, I like my job. You might be saying, well, I want to get a different job. But I think it can go so much further when you just look at really just the overall message, right? And I think you can apply it to just what he said in the beginning. You can achieve anything that's important to you if you'll focus on the little things that matter. And when you think about that, that's really what this call is about, day in and day out. It's about all of these little things that, sometimes we can overlook. They're little things, they're simple things, and because they're simple to do, they're also very simple, not to do. And so, when I was kind of listening to Holli read, it totally kind of changed my perspective on what I was going to say about the call. But I think, if you just kind of take the points, right, and you apply them to whatever goal it is that you're moving towards. And so I think it's important, number one, when it says get the job you want, I think, too many times in life, people just settle, right? Just settle for, well, this is the best I can do, or this is the best I can have, instead of really, going after, what they want. And I believe that's kind of the overall message of this, because it might not apply to everybody. I think, it's like, well, I might love my job. I love what I love what I do. I love being a consultant here at Zervita. But, whatever that is for you, you take the points and, you just apply them to your life, and just a real simple overview. And it's, kind of number one is determine your value. Just, you're important, you're valuable. It's important to know that God made you perfect and you have value to add, and you deserve to really go after what you want. And then, potential positions, it's like, well, what do you really want? Determine your goals of what you really want. What's important to you? And then your targeted resume, right? It's, well, just thinking about what am I passionate about? What do I have that can add value? And, then when you're talking about it, potential employers, it's just, staying focused, keeping the main thing. What's your goal and what are you really going after? And it, pick up the phone is just simple. I think we talk about a lot of things all the time on these calls in the morning, but I think it might be one of the most important things, because pick up the phone is really just a dying art of just really building relationships. We live in a world where that's disconnected, unrelational, and really because of that, it's an offended, self-centered, one-sided narrative world. And the only way we change that is by looking different. And how do we do that? Well, we pick up the phone. What does that mean? Well, you just be a little different, right? Maybe, and I think I was talking to James about this the other day. It can be as simple as, when you're in town or, at Walmart or shopping, like where you just don't have your phone and you just engage with people and say hi. You smile. You just look a little different, right? Because that's what, meeting people and networking at the end of the day is really such a big thing in where you go. And then just following up, it's just, staying true to where you are and what you want. And he said it, right? What do we do? You keep calling even when the answer is no. And you've heard so many success stories about people who just wouldn't give up and they keep going. And, it goes back to all these things. So when I was thinking about it, I just was kind of thinking about it as like how does this apply to everyone? How does it apply to me, right? I'm not looking for a new job. So if you are, obviously all the points are pretty self-explanatory. But then I think the number one thing that he said of everything was kind of pushing outside of your comfort zone. And that's just, I think, living in a comfort zone or pushing on your comfort zone is a lifestyle choice. And you either live one or the other. You're either constantly kind of pushing on your comfort zone. What I mean by that is, all these points, you're just kind of not settling for the status quo, not just settling in life. You have some goals, you know you have value, and you just, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and with the thought process that God's always going to stand in the gap, because God will always bless that constant activity. God's not looking for people that are perfect. God's just looking for people that are radically available and willing to be obedient and move. And I think in the bigger picture of everything, there's so much here that we can gather and apply to all of our lives. And so that's my take, probably a little sideways, but I love y'all, and I hope you grab something from that. And I'm going to turn it back over to the varsity squad to get your takeaway.
I love that. I love your perspective on all these things. And, Todd says here at the end, people who believe in themselves aggressively seek what they want, refuse to accept rejection, and do the little things that their competitors are unwilling to do will be rewarded for their efforts. And I really dig that. I love that. I think back to a time in my life when I had graduated with my teaching degree, and I thought I was going to be, I did my student teaching in an inner city school and high school. I loved it, English, and I thought that was the direction I was going to go into. And then I just reevaluated, and there was a job opening at a Head Start program in our area, which really helped underprivileged kids and their families. And it was a job opening for head teacher, and, man, I wanted it. I thought I could really make a difference here. This is what teaching was all about to me, and I was just really excited. And I was brand new, out of my teaching degree, and I went into that interview, and I sat there the night before, and I thought, what would make me stand out? I really wanted this job so very much, and I thought, what is going to make me stand out? And it's those little things. And I thought, okay, to set yourself apart, you got to set yourself apart, Holly. So what are you going to do that they can just take one look at you and say, okay, we're going to hire you for the job? And I started to think about some influences that I had in my life. Number one, my mom and my grandmother. Those were two really big influences in my life about they just loved children and always made things fun. I thought of Mary Poppins. I love Mary Poppins. I thought of her. I thought of Mr. Rogers. That was another one. Pippi Longstocking, fun, full of energy, happy. The Muppets, Sesame Street, Captain Kangaroo. I started thinking of all of these things and, bright colors, fun energy. And I got up the next morning, and instead of wearing a suit to my job interview, I put these old denim overalls on, a really bright orange, pink, yellow shirt on. I put my most fun earrings in. I did my hair super, super fun. And when I looked in the mirror, I wore different colored socks, and I had my Converse shoes on, and I had my nails painted a bright color. And I thought, man, my goal was they're going to look at me and say, this lady would be fun and she would be awesome to work with kids. And I remember walking into that interview, I started second guessing myself like, oh no, what have I done here? But I walked into the interview, and when I walked into the room, the lady stood up and she said, well, just by looking at you, I'll tell you, you have the job right now. You're fun. I walked in with a smile. And so I eventually did get that job. They put me in a room for a week and basically said, if you can survive this for a week, you're hired. I did get the job. I worked there for 7 years, and I absolutely loved it. I really believe I did make a difference there. So that's just an example. Just set yourself apart. Maybe go above and beyond, and if you want something in your life, aggressively go after it. Go the next step, and the little things really do matter. So we love you all. God bless you. Have an awesome rest of your Holy Week this week, and, this weekend, just really, think about all of the sacrifices that our Lord and Savior made for us, and, Friday's going to come, but Sunday's coming, and so we love you all. God bless you. We'll be back here tomorrow at the same time, and I'll let Jamie unmute the lines.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Let's unmute and well, here we go again. It's doing it. I can't unmute everybody, but it won't let me unmute.
Okay, well, we love you guys. God bless you. Can you stop the recording?
I can't do anything. Okay. The controls aren't working. All right. We love you all. Sorry.